Hi everyone, my name is Joshua Allerton, founder of Hatch & Vox, an SEO agency, and these are the first 5 things I look for when I conduct my mini audits. Now, you may be part of my SEO newsletter already, and if you are, around 30 days after you get an email with your rewards. You can either choose a one-to-one free consultation with me, or you can choose to have free written SEO recommendations sent directly to your email. And these are the 5 things I'm going to look for in those mini audits, and are the first 5 things that I find most commonly wrong with most websites I look for. And the first one is the meta title and meta description. Normally they're either blank or they're templated. For example, the home page may say home, then maybe a dash, and then the name of the brand. Even like services pages can be like services dash brand. And sometimes the meta description doesn't even say anything. And these meta titles and descriptions, they are used on the Google search engine result page, and you should treat them as a mini advertisement for your site. So if you don't actively tell and try and sell your page, sell your site to users on the front end, then Google isn't necessarily going to show your website. They're going to choose either another website, or even worse, they're going to rewrite your meta title and description to something better. You want to be in control of that. So my recommendation is always to go and check your meta titles and meta descriptions so they're reflective of what your page is about. And a really good bonus thing about this is that the meta title itself is classed as a ranking factor. So if you use your primary keyword in there for that page, you also increase the better chance of ranking higher on Google, because quite frankly, you're telling Google what the page is all about. Now, I do have a sort of a meta title and description generator. It is for, at the moment, just for e-commerce brands. So if you're selling a product, this is what you should use for it. But there's no harm in using the idea and the template behind it for your other pages too. I'll include the link at the bottom of this video, and hopefully it'll look a bit more prettier by the time you get round to it. But all you have to do is come in here, type in your product name, maybe it's like blazer, and your target keyword is men's blazer, and you write in the sort of benefits. I'm going to type in benefit, features, you get the drill, you put the price in there, £100. The call to action can be like learn more, but in this case it's going to be buy now. Click generate meta and it will generate it over here for you. It'll tell you what characters you used, and you can basically copy and paste that directly into your website to use, or on the page to use as your meta title and meta description. The second thing I do notice is the redirects between your www subdomain. Now, the www in any URL is a subdomain, like blog.yourwebsite.com, hire, or I don't know, many of it like support, help. All these are subdomains, and www is still the same. It's just back in the day, www was the standard as World Wide Web, so you know when you're accessing that page, it's the one that's meant for everyone to see. But the issue is times when we have opted for, without having a subdomain, for the root domain to be used as the one to host the public website. So what happens is when we both use www or non-www, we end up having 2 copies of the same website. So for example, if you go to this link, now not actually this URL, but replace example with your name, and if you go to this link as well, if they don't redirect in between each other and both those pages look the same, Google will see them as 2 separate websites, or 2 different copies of your websites, 2 different pages. And we don't want to create these duplicate sites for Google, because they will see it as duplication and will act accordingly. Whether they'll punish you directly for it by not ranking you, or it may end up that they get confused which subdomain is the right one, the one without the www or the one with. And it gets even worse with the trailing slash. So you may have seen it in when you type in URLs or not, but sometimes we'll take the self-assessment one, for example. Say you're an accountant and you help people with their self-assessments for the UK government. You may have a URL like https:/example.com/self-assessment, and exactly the same here, we have a /. Same thing as the www. These can be classed as 2 different pages if you do not redirect. Another thing I asked Josh, which is the right one? What's the right one to link to? And it all depends. In most cases, I found people are wanting to use the non-www, because that's what they set the website up to. Other times they may prefer without or with. But what I would do first is go to your Google Search Console and see how Google is currently treating your website. For example, you may find that actually Google has been favoring www for the past 12, 16 months. And you may also find that it might be ranking the forward slash, and the one without the forward slash, the trailing slash, may be classed as a duplicate or a canonicalization that you haven't actually self-declared. So make a decision based on that. Another thing also is to look at your backlinks. If you have actively been building backlinks, or maybe you've got listed in Yale.com, Google Maps, Apple, Bing Maps, look at where those are pointing to. If you have majority of them, or at least all of them, pointing to a www dot or one example, maybe you should opt with that. Now, there's nothing wrong with choosing against it. Say everything is pointing to the www dot, Google ranks for it well, your backlinks are built there. You could, as you would do naturally, you'll build the free one link, the redirect, go from here to here, here to here. It will pass on that authority over time. Then you might have to go through to your backlinks and change all the different websites, all the different backlinks pointing to the right one. That can be a bit of a job, but if that's what you prefer, then that is fine. So that's just one example that I have found going forward, and I recommend everyone with a website, if you haven't checked this before, if you don't know whether it's actually in place, go ahead, do it. And of course, how to fix this, it does normally tend to rely on your developers to do this, or at least your hosting provider. But you do have this code here, and if you get access to your .ht access, this you can be found some SEO plugins let you do it. Some, and if you use WordPress, you might be able to get a theme editor with access to it there. But most of the time, it requires going onto your hosting and actually writing this piece of code into the .access. This actually points it from your non-www dot to your www dot subdomain. But I would, if you're not a developer, if you're not familiar with this sort of thing, I do recommend seeking expert help first, because the last thing you want to do is to mess up your website like this and cause it to break, and then eventually lose all your SEO results. If you have got WordPress, like many of you definitely have, click on, I'll send you this link of how to configure WordPress to work with new domain, because WordPress will choose www or non-www depending on how you set it up. So if you do change this link here, make sure you change this first, because you're going to cause some issues going forward. Now we'll talk about backlink gaps. That's basically looking at your backlinks and your competitors' backlinks and see if there's any that you are missing. And I've found it quite a lot is that people aren't actively building backlinks, and I completely understand why, especially the whole myth around them about being bad, about being against Google rules. Newsflash, what Google says and what Google rewards are two very, very different things. But what I would recommend is that you definitely look at the difference between you and people on page one, and you would find that they have been building backlinks for months, years before you, and it's your job now to go and catch up. And just to show you a really, really quick example, here I'm looking for small business accountant, and obviously targeting the country United Kingdom. If you were trying to compete for this keyword, and say you weren't even on page one, you come onto a tool like clicks.so or something similar like that. You could use Ahrefs, you could use SEMrush. They're a bit more pricey. That's why I recommend clicks.seo a lot. But you can scroll down here and you can see the different search engine result pages, who's ranking for what. So Guerrilla Accounting is ranking 1, the accountancy.co.uk is ranking for 2nd. You got on buyers.co.uk, which is more of a affiliate, a review site, maybe a directory, so you might just want to ignore that, but it's always worth taking a look. But you have got aywise.co.uk, which apparently is only offering small business accountants from only £20 a month. But what you can see on the right hand side here, they use domain power. Other websites use domain authority, domain, I forgot the other one off the top of my head. It doesn't matter. They're sort of the same thing. At least it's something you can play around with. But what you can do then is basically go into these URLs. Now, I don't like to do it just for the page itself. I like to go to you can have a look at it itself, what backlinks the actual page has got. But I like to look at the backlinks of the overall domain. So what I'd normally do in this situation, now other tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs can probably tell you the backlink gap straight away. You put in your website, you put in maybe guerrillaaccounting.com, and it'll tell you, you need to build these websites. Something very clear as that. But if you haven't got Ahrefs, you may have to do this manually, like in this situation. So when you get the backlink data here, you can click on export. You can then copy it or export it to Excel or a CVS and import it then into to Google Sheets. And what I would do then, I would take this. I'd also take my own backlink profile, maybe using the same tool to get it. I'd also then maybe get two or three more different competitors within this, and then look through and see, have I got that one? No. Okay. Like for example, in this case, Wikipedia, Gorilla County ranking for Wikipedia. Okay, maybe I should go and get that too. About me, have I got that? Clutch. I didn't know Clutch did accounting. Obviously, as an SEO agency, we're on there, so we're okay with that. They've got a they've got a link in the express.co.uk. Maybe I should go and do more digital PR. Maybe look at stuff like that. Maybe do more outreach. Blah blah blah. You take that and you build a plan with that, how you're going to match and beat Gorilla Accounting to help you at least get the top spot. And on the flip side of that, we also have, I find, blog posts. Either there's little or no SEO focused blog posts. Most of the time, I found they are like company news related, and this is okay. This is okay. You can still put company news on. You could now index it, or you could just leave it as it is. But what we found is that topical authority is just so important in today's modern SEO strategy. It's not the be and end all. It's not like the only thing that's going to get you ranked. It's why you need those backlinks. But if you don't have anything that's telling Google that what you're about, so if you're an accountant, if you're not talking about self-assessments, VAT returns, if you're not talking about recent changes in accountancy law or how to create a balance sheet, if you're not talking about that, not only are you not helping your users trust you more and to learn more about you and to hopefully inquire through them, what you're telling Google is what you're not telling Google is that you know what you're on about, and that's what it is with topical authority. So I would have a look now at your website, your blog section. It doesn't necessarily be a blog. You can create a different type of post. It could be guides. It could be even a wiki or a help desk. You need to create something like that, and are you providing as much information to Google and to users to help them achieve what they need to, and then tell Google that you know what you're on about. Now, if you do want help with this, we do sell content plans. Of course, it's included in every retainer. That's what we do. But if you want something separate, DM me, contact me, and I'll definitely sure to help you out there. Now, this is my final one, and I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not really about an SEO one. It's more about copy, more help you with conversions. But what I find sometimes is that some website copy always wants to talk about them. This is what we do. This is who we help. We have achieved this. We have done that. And I find myself a bit bored, to be completely honest, a bit turned off, to be blunt. I'm coming on these websites thinking, okay, I'm ready to be sold. Well, you're never sold to, but I'm trying to find a service, trying to find something to help me. Whether it's a blog post, whether it's an actual service I'm looking for. And if all you're going to do is talk about yourself and not address the actual pains and the pains that I'm feeling and how you're going to solve them, then this isn't going to work out. And in the SEO, I often talk about this with my clients, is that I can get you a load of traffic to your site that's warm, they're ready to convert, but if you can't convert them on that page, if you can't entice them enough, if you can't get a decent copywriter, which we can do as well, then it all goes to waste. All that money invested in SEO, all the publicity you build, all those people coming onto your website, they're just going to run away. They're not going to be interested. So make sure to, when you review your website next, go on it with a blank slate, or even better, before getting on your website, go on a competitor's website, or go onto a website nothing related to what you do or your industry. Maybe it's something you're interested in, whether it's golf clubs, or whether it's the latest fashion, or I used to be a Vicarian actress, and maybe I'll go look up the latest, the newest mead that's that's available on the internet. Go onto these websites and think, okay, how do I feel when they say this? Do I feel drawn to what? Do I feel encouraged? Do I feel like they're solving a pain? Do I want to buy this? Or are they just turning me off by talking about themselves all the time? Now, before I end this video, obviously thank you for listening. I hope it's been insightful and good for you. I hope you can get away now and look at these sort of the 5 common things that I found and see if you've got any and know how to fix them. But if you do want your own free SEO written recommendations, I will include a link down below. You don't have to sign up to my newsletter for that. You get direct access to it just for watching this video. Once again, thank you for listening. I've been Joshua Allerton, founder of Hatch and Vox, with the SEO agency who wants to end the lies in the industry while, of course, always growing your organic revenue. Any questions at all, please contact me, hatchandfox.com, reach out to me on LinkedIn, or email me, josh@hatchandfox.com. Until next time.